Welcome my friends, Evan Gray here. Thank you for joining me for this episode. Let's roll the intro and I'll give you an update on what's happening with my trailer and my truck. This video is sponsored by Renowned Cargo Trailers. I'm camped today near Havasu City, Lake Havasu, just outside of there, like 20 minutes out in the desert, and it's beautiful here, fantastic weather. And today I want to give you an update answering some questions about the status on my truck. I've been working on the interior, so I'll show you that, and then we'll get over to the trailer, which I'm just starting to do some construction work on the inside. So first, let's talk about the truck. It was stolen back in May, several months ago, and then sat in a shop for almost 2 months, supposedly getting repairs, which nothing was done. Finally got it back. Insurance paid for the claim finally after months, and then I bought seats on eBay. I bought a carpet kit on eBay, and so it's been a slow process as I've been learning how to install that. Let me show you what I've done so far. Okay, here you can see inside I have installed some seats that I purchased on eBay, which you can see here, and I've installed the carpet kit. Carpet kit is pretty good on the fit, but it's a little bit sort of bumpy here. It's just not really smooth, and I'm not sure how to smooth this out. I tried getting it as smooth as possible before I put the seats in and attached everything and cut the holes for all of the bolts over here. So I was hoping that by driving this and getting the heat in here that it would just smooth out over time. That has not happened. So I'm not sure what to do about sort of these wrinkles here. So if you have tips, and I've not been able to find anything online. So anyway, if you have some tips here, just let me know in the comments. So what's left to do on the truck? Well, I still need to install the stereo in the dash and put in trim pieces and then replace the steering wheel. It works fine for now, but it has a cut in it. Here's some of the trim pieces that I need to put in. Still have to put the stereo in over here. And here is the cut on the steering wheel. So I still need to replace this steering wheel with one without this cut here. And so I just need to track that down. This still works okay. It's just, you know, sort of weird driving it with the little cut here. Part of the building process of the trailer here has been staying inside of the trailer, basically living inside of the trailer as a camper slash trailer tiny house type thing. And for me, at least my experience in the step van was by living in the space, you gain a feel for it and a feel for where you want things to be and how things should be built. And you don't always know going in. You think you know in your head how things need to be, but once you get in the space, things just don't work out actually spatially the way you think they should. So that's happened a little bit here, so there's some slight tweaks that I'm making, pulling some things out and redoing them. Let me show you and explain why. When I purchased the trailer, the paneling on the inside were these 4x8 sheets of very thin plywood, and they go horizontally, side to side, instead of up and down. And I didn't realize or didn't even think about that until just here recently, maybe in the last 4 or 5 weeks, what that means about my build. I was just okay with that. That's the way it came. And since that time, I thought about it is most trailers are probably 6 foot, 6'3" in the height on the inside. And so they run these side to side for best use of the material for a shorter trailer. I purchased mine with an 8.5 foot ceiling, so they easily could have rotated these 90 degrees and gone top to bottom. That probably would have been a better use of the space. But their building technique and all the trailers they're building are probably built this way with them side to side as it was given to me. So what does that mean about my build and impacting the way I'm putting things together? Well, in the step van, I had built it with slats, recycled fence paneling that went vertical, top to bottom. And that made it really easy for me to run electric around the top of the corners and then drop it down to wherever I needed to put a plug or run electric wiring. It was very convenient, very easy, particularly if I needed to access something. Like there was a couple of times where a plug connection went bad and I was able to just remove one plank, pull it out, work on the back side of it, or change out the plug type, USB normal to USB-C, or put in a cigarette lighter type plug. All of those things were easily possible just by removing one panel. What I'm leading up to is that I don't want these giant panels going side to side where I've got an 8-foot stretch of plywood, and if I need to get to behind that, then I have a whole bunch of components and things that might need to be removed just to get that one piece of plywood out. I much prefer having things vertical top to bottom, running things around the edges at the very top for my horizontal wires to get it around to where I need to go, and then do a drop down, and then do a drop down to where I need it. So what I've decided to do is remove all of these paneling, which means pulling everything out of my trailer so that I'm able to change the paneling to be vertical. But instead of doing a 4x8 sheet vertical, I've decided to do 2-foot strips. So I've started into that. And I also discovered one other critical thing that needs to be changed regardless of whether I decide to change the boards vertical or horizontal. It just needs to be done, and let me show you about that. The best way I can show you is up here. On the right hand side is the original paneling, and I put furring strips up here at the top. Down here, there's a total of 4 of these furring strips that are going side to side. And the original install that I did with Becky in Colorado, these are at the very, very, very top. So that's 8'5" up there. The problem is I want the ceiling to actually be an 8-foot ceiling with 2 inches of insulation or 2.5 inches of insulation above. So I've done a prototype on the front wall. This is the front wall, the tongue's on the other side. Changing this to an 8-foot ceiling so that I can put the insulation in at the proper height. So I had to pull out this piece of foam, recut it, reattach the furring strip at the top to be exactly 8 foot. So this is a piece of plywood here that is 2 foot wide. It's one sheet ripped in half, and it's 8 feet tall, going up to the new furring strip, which has been installed at 8 feet. So what this means is that I can put my insulation above this easily and be able to remove these panels. I've also added little metal plates on the top to allow the insulation to sit on top of that. So this will be sort of a holder for the insulation. So there's going to be these little metal plates at about 2-foot intervals along the top here. So I've installed 2 panels side by side. I love the way this is working. It's so much more secure because I'm able to secure this at top, midpoint, and then down at the bottom, which is working way better, and I can remove just one 2-foot section if I need to work behind this. So I need to add one more over here, one more over here, and then extend this to the right and the left. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the near future. And that is in preparation to install this sliding glass door in the back. So I'm going to be installing a new wall here in the next week or so with the sliding glass door in the back of my trailer here. It'll go just along the side to side here on the back of the trailer. So I want to remove this paneling here that's going the horizontal direction, which I don't want anymore, and put in new section. I also want the studs that are going to go here to go against the furring strips and the metal behind rather than on top of this plywood, because otherwise you're going to have a wall going right on top of the plywood of an 8-foot sheet going side to side, which is going to make it impossible to access anything behind it without removing the entire wall and the sliding door. So I don't want to do that. I want that wall, I want the stud wall to go directly to the surface here rather than to the plywood. So that's got to come out. So that's really where it all started, when I started thinking about attaching the stud wall here onto this plywood, which I could easily do, and it would be simple, but I think it's going to cause me lots and lots of headaches down the road. So that's what I have going on right now, working on that. Hopefully I'll have a wall in here and a sliding glass door in the next week or two. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Savor the moment, and I'll see you in a future video.